Hey, it's Harry and David here again with one of our monthly educational videos. Being that we're going through a recession right now with COVID, Harry and I thought we'd go over some of the mistakes that we often see people make during a recessionary environment and sort of coach you through how to avoid making those mistakes yourself. Over the last 11 years, Harry, we've seen a huge bull market run. And for many young investors, this is probably their first experience with volatility or a down market and a job market that may be threatening their own, ability to earn an income. And in this environment, a lot of people can, be worried and make some costly knee-jerk financial decisions. And so we thought today we'd go over a few of the common ones that we see to sort of coach you through that.
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes that we see, especially with young investors, is they may be contributing monthly to whether it's an RSP or some type of savings plan. And suddenly they hear the media telling them that, oh my God, the world's falling, this market is different, it's never going to recover, things are horrible. And one of the things they do is they make a knee-jerk reaction. And what we mean by that is they suddenly panic and they want to stop their contributions. This is a mistake. Like, instead of looking at this as a bad buying opportunity, you should be looking at this as a great opportunity, because now you have this opportunity to buy all these wonderful companies on sale. But again, it's easy to say, hard to do. And this is a big mistake that we see a lot of young investors and some older ones as well make. And it's easy to understand because the media, their job is to panic you. Their job is to make you scared so that you watch them all the time. And that's what they do. The other thing that you may want to do, and this is sort of in taking advantage of what this volatility creates, is sometimes you have investors that at the end of every year will make their RSP contribution. Again, I know it's hard to do, but one of the things that you may want to consider during a recession is when the market does drop, is actually take that as a buying opportunity and speed up your purchase. So instead of waiting to the end of the year and maybe have the market recover all the way up, look at a point in time that is poor and use that buying opportunity to your benefit.
Absolutely. Another mistake that we see people often make in a recession and just a bad market in general is to move their investments to cash. Wholesale reactions, whether in a good market or a bad market, are typically not a good thing to do. But especially during a recession, when we see down markets like we did in February and March, where the market dropped about 38%, making a wholesale change at that point in time and moving your investments to cash when the market is already down significantly, overwhelmingly is a terrible decision in retrospect. Because then you lock in that loss, and then you also have to decide on when to get back in. And if you're somebody who's in their 30s or 40s and you're still 20 years away from retirement, it's absolutely the wrong thing to do, because you don't need to spend any of that money for another 20 years. Even if you're somebody who is approaching retirement or already retired, it's still the wrong thing to do, because you still have to think of your retirement as lasting 20, 25, maybe 30 years. And that money needs to help fund that retirement for a long duration of time. And so we know that cash at 0.5% return is not going to help you reach that goal. And so oftentimes the best thing is just to leave your investments, where they are, and allow the inevitable bounce back to occur. Interestingly, even if you're an oracle and you foresaw this happening in early February and you moved to cash in February and you're still sitting in cash now, middle of August, you're probably flat for the year, which is roughly where you would have been had you just left the money invested and gone through the inevitable ups and downs of the market. So moving to cash is fraught with risk. We never recommend.
Yeah, and great points, David. Another area that we find that people tend to get themselves into trouble is focusing on the short term. Whether they look at what's happened in the last month or what's happened in the last quarter. I actually remember a phone call that I got, and someone, this was about 5 years ago, and someone had said, "Oh my God, I'm down 5%." And I quickly looked at their portfolio, and actually they were up 10% for the year. But their portfolio had grown up to 15 and it just come back 5. And so the problem with that is, instead of looking at how well you're doing over a block of time, and we always tell people maybe go back 5 years and take a look at where you are at this point in time, and then see and judge your portfolio. But if you're judging it over 1 month or 3 month time period, you're going to always be disappointed, because even in a year where your portfolio may grow 20%, it is quite common to have a short block of time where the market dips about 10, 12%. So even though you may end up 20% higher from January 1st to December 31st, you are going to have some time periods in that block of year that is going to be negative.
Mm-hmm. One strategy, interesting, you say you had a conversation with a client. One strategy I've chatted with many clients about is in 2008, when they knew the market was bad, some clients actually didn't even open their statements. They just, they received them in the mail and they tucked them away in a filing cabinet, and then they pulled them out a year later. Now, many people, that may be difficult to do. You need to know, or you want to know, where the numbers are, but that is a strategy that can work for some people. So I just thought I'd share that. But another mistake that we see people make oftentimes is borrowing to invest during recessions or during bad markets. And, oftentimes we talk about that as a strategy for people, and it can be a really good strategy to borrow to invest during a recession or during a poor market. But you have to make sure that you're financially stable. And so for younger investors out there who may be inclined to borrow off of a credit card or take a personal loan at a relatively high interest rate to try and double their money on a stock or something speculative, it's fraught with risk, and we never advise that. We only advise borrowing to invest for maybe a more mature investor. If you own your home and you have no mortgage or very little mortgage, if you have good job security, you have to be in the right financial position to be able to leverage into an investment. And so if that's something that you're thinking about, it can be a mistake, but it also can be a great opportunity. And so for the right people, we'd recommend you chat with Harry and I before you do any leveraged investing.
Yeah, great point, David. I think what's really important also to recognize is every downturn, every recession, every bad market, 100% of the time has not only bounced back, but raced to new record highs. So David and I may not be able to know in advance whether it's going to be a short-term recession like what we've just seen right now during COVID, or a little bit longer term recession like we saw in 2008 with the meltdown at that point in time. But one of the things that we do recognize is that 100% of the time, the market not only bounces back, but gets you new record highs. And this is one of the reasons why we've always done, as we call it, those 3 balls. Because we know we can't predict the short term, but we know if we protect your money for the short term by having 3 years worth of income in the fixed income lower ball, 4 years in the bonds, and the rest in dividend paying ownership in companies or equities, that we can always get you to your goals safely, no matter what the market is doing. So as always, if you have any questions, if you need to discuss anything, please don't hesitate to give David and I a call. Wishing you and the family the best.
Thanks for tuning in. Take care for now.